Happy Sunday reads. I was just watching Hannah in the background, and I have like a fancy smart TV, so I'm gonna change it to be something Christmassy. Hold, please. Caller! And Kiki just got home. Hold, please. Caller! Okay, Kiki's back. We're doing a Sunday reads. It's gonna be great. Okay, I'm still trying to figure out the structure to this, but I vlogged a little bit today. Some bookish things happened that I thought would be fun to share. First off, the book Hotties had a Secret Santa exchange, and we got on a Zoom call and revealed each other's book picks to each other, which was really fun. I'll insert some stuff there. Yeah. How do I open it?
Just to give you the heads up, you are completely frozen on my side, so I need audio description.
I am?
Oh. This is a great practice.
Am I still frozen?
You're not to me, but maybe to Kieran.
Oh, I hate that. I'm opening the package. Oh my goodness, am I opening it?
I apologize.
CJ, a white woman with brown hair, open the package.
Check out 19 by Claire Louise Bennett. I feel like anyone but Kieran could have gotten this for me, but if I had to...
Am I allowed to guess?
Yeah.
I guess. Because no, that doesn't work. Because then we know. Yes.
It literally could be any of you, but I feel like Jay, because we talked about it when we were in Pals.
Yep, it is me.
Right first time!
Yes! I got Check Out 19 by Claire Louise Bennett, author of Pond. I bought Jalen Pond when he was here at Pals, and I was like, oh, I really want to read this one. So he got it for me. He's smart like that. I hear this is very weird, very stream of consciousness about reading. And I can't wait. Then I just vlogged a couple of clips because I was popping around town, finishing up some Christmas shopping for Kiki and wrapping presents. Very fun, very fun. Now you can see that. Target is complete. I was mostly there to get my dad's prescriptions, but Kiki also really wanted this children's pillow. Every time we've been to Target the last year, he's like drawn to it. So I don't really want that in my house, but he is getting it for Christmas. Now I'm off to the art supply store to get him some new watercolor brushes and find something for lunch, hopefully. Do you want to see my wrapping paper this year? Nothing makes me feel more like a normie, a suburban woman, a person who goes to Target every single weekend than picking out my wrapping paper for the year. Do you agree? It's a big deal, right? We just go Target every year, you know, not that that's a surprise, but I wasn't that in love with our wrapping paper choices. Simple Christmas tree print. I wanted to be like more colorful and less traditional Christmassy, but my options were limited. Then we have this like foiled multicolored stripe and a silver grid stripe. I don't know, that's what we had to work with. Tell me if I'm wrong in this assumption, but I want Kiki to read The Year of Magical Thinking. Someone in his immediate family just died. That's why we were in Phoenix the other day. I already own it, so I'm just gonna wrap it and put it under the tree for him. I mean, reduce, reuse, recycle, am I right? He doesn't need his own copy of it. Like, we own it, and I think presenting it in the context of a Christmas gift is smart to make him read it, right? Have you ever done this before? Perks of having a large book collection that is mostly yours and not your partner's. He's done. He has a couple more things coming in the mail, but we're wrapped. We are wrapped! Okay, so those are the vloggy bits. Still trying to figure out the structure to this Sunday Reads catch up, right? But I think the majority of this week's video is gonna be a rave about this book I read. I Love You, But I've Chosen Darkness by Claire Bay Watkins. This is a piece of autofiction, literary fiction, blurbed by Jenny Offill on the back, who is one of my favorite fragmentary DWM writers. And this book is really special. If you take one of my recommendations from this year, it's probably to read this. Not that I think it has a universality about it, but it's so special that if it hits you, I think it's worth you trying to take the chance on it, like I did, if that makes sense. So in this, we follow a woman who recently had a baby. A trope, a writing device that I love is women contemplating motherhood. And she's depressed, she's withdrawn, she's a writer, and she's kind of reflecting upon this huge transformation that's happened to her, and in this big change, unpacking some of her generational trauma and her own associated baggage of mothering, what kind of mother she had. Spud. Come on, man. Get off the couch, man. Go. What kind of mother she had, and just kind of find her emotional state, as well as connecting with a physical landscape and remembering the one that formed her. And in this book particularly, that is the desert. The desert is a really special place to me. I mean, this is like an earnest, connected book that I felt a genuine draw to because of parallels to my own upbringing and life. I think that's definitely part of the reason why I loved it so much, but it also is just like beautifully crafted and well done. So big caveat as I'm unpacking this book a little bit, I am gonna keep pointing it back towards myself because I'm a human and that's the way our brains work, right? Making meaning by pointing it back to me. Anyway, this is set in the desert. She was raised in the desert in kind of this Nevada, California, Mojave Desert basin in the thralls of addicted parents who struggled with their own mental illnesses and addiction issues and were straddling the poverty line at all times. So that is just rife with a lot of nuanced reflecting, right? And I feel like she does it so well under this construct of transformation of motherhood. Another very interesting part of this book is that Claire Vaye Watkins, the main character is named Claire, autofiction, but also the Claire Vaye Watkins' father was part of the Manson family. And I mean, that's intriguing and enticing and hooking by itself, but I loved the way she kind of unpacked and examined and kind of like held her father accountable for the gross, heinous parts of procuring young girls for the Manson family that he was responsible for, while also remembering him as her father and mourning the loss of his role in her life. He died when she was really young. He died at like 40 years old. Nuance and that critical lens that's not just throwing away all of the parts of this relationship because it wasn't good or had problematic aspects to it is just something I love. I love reading and getting into the mess of human dynamics and human relationships and flawed people, and the fact that this is rooted in real life and in the author's actual story I thought was incredible. Also interspersed, like the structure of this book goes between our narrator Claire, and it's including letters her mother wrote to her aunt in the 60s and 70s, which is like fascinating to read through because I mean, you're getting the perspective of how she was as a mother to Claire, which was like not, you know, she did the best she could, but she had addiction issues and put them in harm's way a lot of the time. But you also get the perspective of the mother before she was a mother and her trying to transverse and move through what it was like growing up in 60s, 70s Las Vegas in the age of like flower childom and the cusp of counterculture, really. I think this book explores counterculture in a really interesting way. It's like a road novel at the same time. Has some of that DWM thinky reflections on motherhood stuff that I like, and is very not clean. This doesn't leave you with any tidy solutions or answers, but I feel like is really generous in its examination of shifting identities. Sure, let's say that. I loved this book. I really think you should read it if any of that sounds interesting to you. I feel like it was just so well done and beautiful, and I want to reread it already. I mean, when does that happen? When do you finish a book? This is the last book I read and immediately want to reread it. Like, it's something I was toying with seriously, of just starting over at the beginning. Read it. That's my plug. I also want to read her collection of short stories, and I know she wrote another novel. I'm down. I'm here for it. New favorite author. Also, just a reminder of like how surprising end of the year reading can be. This is in my top 10 of the year now, absolutely. And it's late December. Who would have thought? Keep your heart and your mind open, people. I picked up The Fire Next Time by James Baldwin this weekend as well. Wow, it's a collection of 2 letters. It's a collection of 2 letters written on the anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation. And the first letter is super personal and written to James Baldwin's nephew, who is named after him, James. And it was a wallop of gorgeous, succinct prose of what it means to be a Black man in America and the truisms of that lived experience, and so much of it rang true to what I'm assuming is a really current and contemporary experience of the same identity margin, right? That was the most striking thing to me. It was so current and so fresh that it was really heartbreaking to see how things have stayed the same, and I thought it was just like a really beautiful thing, and felt really generous that it was published and other people who aren't his nephew got to read it. I'm on to the other half of the book now, which is another letter, and so far it's just exploring his background being raised in Harlem and kind of his connections to the church at the time. So I'll definitely finish that today. I think I'm liking it a lot. And then still reading The Secret Lives of Church Ladies. I try to read a story before bed. That's my short story MO. Still really liking it. I just read one about a lesbian couple who moved from the South to, what is it called? Not the West Coast. What is the middle of the country called? What is the middle of the country called?
Midwest.
The Midwest. They moved to the Midwest and are like experiencing culture shock, but like environmental shock of just being cold, and how discombobulating that is. I really liked the exploration of weather and like the physical surroundings of space just feeling off to you. As a desert lizard person, I related to that a little bit. Those are my 2 reads that I currently have on the go. And then I want to pick up a new novel to start probably a little bit later today. And I was thinking of Intimacies by Katie Kitamura. I'm definitely drawn more to read this now more than ever because some of the book hotties and I were talking about top 10 of the year, and that was in 2 of their lists. So I'm like, all right, like if it's in 2 of their list and I own it already. I just recently bought it when I was in Arizona with Jay, actually. So I think that's gonna be my next novel I get to. I think it's something about language and translation, themes surrounding that. I think it follows an interpreter. So I'm curious to see where that goes. But that's it. That's my Sunday check-in. I had a good work trip. I told you that I was going to LA for a couple of days earlier this week. I can't believe that was already only on Monday. It was fast and furious, but saw a lot of my clients and went to this like experiential event thing for the release of Arcane, which is a League of Legends animated series, which was really fun and well done. And like everyone was dressed up as steampunk characters, which was a thing. It was a thing. No concrete plans for this coming weekend. I am hoping to start getting more inventory for the book truck. I think my designer friend that I have working on the visual identity is going to be ready to share it with me sometime early this coming week, which will be really exciting, and then we'll be rock and roll. One last thing that I've been enjoying that I want to share is Witchwood, which just came out on console. It's like a crafting action adventure game that you play as like a little witch, and you have to craft spells and fight little enemies to save the soul of something. I'm kind of confused on the plot of the game, but I am liking the gameplay so far. A lot of crafting. It's like for fans of like Stardew Valley, I would say, and even Zelda. It reminds me a lot of The Wild at Heart, which is another indie game I loved this year. So really cute illustration style, and it's available on your Switch for like 20 bucks. So if you like a ARPG, go for it. I mean, it's a little light on the action of the ARPG, but it's still fun nevertheless. Okay. Happy second Sunday reads to those who celebrate. I think I'm gonna do a long vlog next week. Does that sound good? Did the people demand the vlogs? Spud's just been right next to you this whole time and you didn't even know. Okay, love you, mean it, bye.